One of the largest employers of low-wage workers in America is a company you've probably never even heard of, a private equity firm called Roark Capital. Roark owns Inspire Brands, which employs more than 650,000 people at franchises of Dunkin' Donuts, Sonic, Arby's, Jimmy John's, Baskin Robbins, Buffalo Wild Wings, and until recently, the Cheesecake Factory.
The Cheesecake Factory did nothing for us during the pandemic.
They're really trimming as much money as they can out of us, like hourly staff. And this is meanwhile when the company is making more money than ever.
In April 2020, when restaurants around the country were in crisis due to the pandemic, Roark Capital bought a controlling stake in the Cheesecake Factory for $200 million. Just 1 year later, in June 2021, Roark cashed out.
So Roark more than doubled its money in just over a year, or made a $257 million profit.
During that year, while Roark made massive profits, workers were devastated by an astonishing lack of safety, staffing shortages, and poverty wages. Many were forced to work 12-hour days, 6 days a week, with little to no COVID precautions. We spoke to Cheesecake Factory workers to find out what happens to a business when a private equity firm like Roark Capital takes over.
How the company has responded has been to prioritize their profits over their people.
They didn't care about the workers' health. They didn't care about the guests' health either. It was just really disheartening and honestly kind of disgusting to see.
They would allow more indoor seating than the CDC recommended. They would allow indoor dining even when the pandemic was in surges because they didn't want to lose that profit.
A lot of people did not feel safe coming in. A lot of people felt afraid to take their sick days off because we were still understaffed then. There's definitely a lot of pressure to come in even if you were ill. The state of California offered workers 10 days of paid time off in case a worker got sick or was facing side effects from getting the vaccine. They did not tell anyone about this. They did the legal minimum in posting a notification on it in very small text, hidden away with a lot of other old irrelevant posters. So the vast majority of my coworkers, including myself, didn't know about this until we actively looked into it. I feel like they didn't want to tell us because that would require paying us for a time off, and recently they have been doing everything they can to claw that away from us.
I get $9 an hour here. I know there are a lot of states that are still at $213. But when I worked in North Carolina, it was still $213. So again, if the company can pay you $213, they're gonna pay you $213. And as a tipped employee, you will never see a raise.
I have seen a lot of injuries and a lot more risky behavior at work because of how busy it is. Things like, servers or bussers, running with hot drinks or running with very full plates. We end up dropping these more, so, shards of ceramic and glass go everywhere. We all have to stop and clean it up. We have so much pressure on the outside to keep our flow going.
There's a high turnover rate with new hires just seeing the workload for the pay and seeing that it's not quite matching up. The Cheesecake Factory has more than doubled its to-go sales since even before the shutdown. Every location is averaging about $3 million in to-go sales only a year.
Roark Capital got its name and philosophy from the main character Howard Roark in Ayn Rand's The Fountainhead, a dystopian novel championing unfettered self-interest in the name of individualism over collective well-being.
Ooh, The Fountainhead! Mom, isn't that book the Bible of right-wing losers?
But unfettered self-interest from billionaire venture capitalists creates a real-life dystopia for millions of workers across the country.
So private equity is investment firms buying up companies, and their sole reason for buying up these companies is to grow cash flow for themselves as much as possible over a period of 4 to 6 years. The company that sort of jumps to mind is a company called Roark Capital. Roark Capital bragged about how it had helped kill the Raise the Wage Act, which would have established a $15 federal minimum wage and ended sub-minimum wages for tipped workers.
Roark employs more than 1 million workers, 650,000 workers in fast food alone, and they are the second largest food conglomerate in the country. A 2020 report found that a number of Roark Capital-owned fast food chains, including Dunkin' Donuts, Sonic, Arby's, and Hardee's, had among the highest number of workers relying on food stamps and Medicaid in multiple states.
There's a lot of money being made by investors and higher-ups that we're not seeing, even though we're the ones who are constantly putting in the hard work, going the extra mile.
We're taking the moment to tell them that, this isn't okay, and that we are going to exercise our rights as workers here, and that we do deserve better and we do deserve a living wage.
We're realizing you need us more so in a lot of ways than we need you. I think they're a little afraid of it, certainly, especially with all the things happening with Starbucks workers now. And
we know this place could be better. We want not only the guests to be happy, but for the employees to be happy as well, to not be so overworked, to not be so overburdened, to have pride in the place that we work at.
I mean, right now, the CEO makes almost 300 times what the average worker makes. That's a ridiculous sort of dichotomy. Give us all a little slice.